Universitas PGRI Semarang is located in the culturally strong Semarang City, Central Java Province, Indonesia. With these features, Semarang is the potential place for students to develop themselves. The spirit that drives Universitas PGRI Semarang is nationalism and religiosity. Nationalism is the spirit to unite the nation in the midst of culture differences. We have 7 faculties consist of Faculty of Education. This faculty is the oldest faculty at our campus with the largest number of students. It has 3 study programs: the Guidance and Counseling Study Program, Elementary School Teacher Education, and Early Childhood Development Teacher Education. Faculty of Social Science and Sports Education. There are several points that become our focus in this faculty. First, the value of humanism as national identity. Second, physical health as a support for quality education. Third, the understanding of economic values as a pillar of human civilization. This faculty has 3 study programs: Pancasila and Citizenship Civil Education, Physical and Recreational Education, and Economic Education. Faculty of Language and Arts. This faculty provides education to generate language and art educators with pedagogical, personal, social, and professional competence and competitive abilities in dealing with the current age development in order to develop themselves into professionals such as translator, newscasters, or journalists by making use of their language and artistic skills. This faculty has 3 study programs: Indonesian Language and Literature Education, English Education, Regional Language and Literature Education, Javanese Language. Faculty of Mathematics, Science, and Information Technology Education. This faculty has study programs of Mathematics Education, Biology Education, Physics Education, and Information Technology Education. The vision of this faculty is to be an excellent and distinguished faculty of Mathematics, Natural Science, and Information Technology Education by 2025. Faculty of Engineering and Informatics. Established on April 17, 2014, this faculty has 6 study programs, namely Architecture, Mechanical Engineering, Civil Engineering, Electrical Engineering, Informatics, and Food Technology. Faculty of Economic and Business. This faculty has a mission to be a faculty of economics and business that excels in the field of digital-based, creative economics and business with a distinctive identity. Faculty of Law. The Faculty of Law of University of PGRI Semarang is committed to develop legal knowledge, and this is done, among others, by organizing seminars, discussions, comparative studies, and field experience practices. In order to support the teaching and learning activities, we have 4 complexes of campuses. Campus 1, located at Jalan Dr. Cipto, Jalan Lontar. This campus consists of representative and modern buildings for teaching and learning activities. This campus consists of central building, main building, student activity center, library, graduate program building, as well as a representative auditorium meeting hall for national class concerts and international seminars. Campus 2, located at Jalan Sriwijaya. This campus has a hotel available for both students and public in general, as well as a large meeting room for teacher, professional training programs, and various other large-scale meetings. Campus 3, located at Jalan Bendan Duo. This campus has a building for students' practices, especially mechanical and electrical engineering department students. This campus supports various activities to increase electrical, mechanical, and architecture skills. Campus 4, located at Jalan Gajah. This campus has a teaching learning building complex and sports centers including basketball, badminton, futsal, and other athletic sports activities. This campus also has a dormitory building provided for students, as well as a high school laboratory school, which was established by the Universitas PGRI Semarang. Why do you have to choose UGRIS as a place to study? We realize the importance of international relations to connect the discourse currently developing in the international world. This is where we establish a collaboration to open up opportunities for career later through students and lecture exchanges, credit transfer and double degree program, joint internship and research, and publication with our reputable university partners. We believe that in our fast-paced and competitive world, there are basic competencies every young generation has to possess, namely excellence and distinction. Excellence in either emotional and spiritual intelligence and the ability to retain the personality as a cultured human being. Please join UGRIS. Universitas PGRI Semarang is located in the culturally strong Semarang City, Central Java Province, Indonesia. With these features, Semarang is a potential place for students to develop themselves. The spirit that drives Universitas PGRI Semarang is nationalism and religiosity. Nationalism is the spirit to unite the nation in the midst of culture differences. We have 7 faculties consist of Faculty of Education. This faculty is the oldest faculty at our campus with the largest number of students. It has 3 study programs: the Guidance and Counseling Study Program, Elementary School Teacher Education, and Early Childhood Development Teacher Education. Faculty of Social Science and Sports Education. There are several points that become our focus in this faculty. First, the value of humanism as national identity. Second, physical health as a support for quality education. Third, the understanding of economic values as a pillar of human civilization. This faculty has 3 study programs: Pancasila and Citizenship Civil Education, Physical and Recreational Education, and Economic Education. Faculty of Language and Arts. This faculty provides education to generate language and art educators with pedagogical personnel, social and professional competence and competitive abilities in dealing with the current age development in order to develop themselves into professionals such as translator, newscasters, or journalists by making use of their language and artistic skills. This faculty has 3 study programs: Indonesian Language and Literature Education, English Education, Regional Language and Literature Education, Javanese Language. Faculty of Mathematics, Science, and Information Technology Education. This faculty has study programs of mathematics education, biology education, physics education, and information technology education. The vision of this faculty is to be an excellent and distinguished faculty of mathematics, natural science, and information technology education by 2025. Faculty of Engineering and Informatics, established on April 17, 2014. This faculty has 6 study programs, namely Architecture, Mechanical Engineering, Civil Engineering, Electrical Engineering, Informatics and Food Technology. Faculty of Economic and Business. This faculty has a mission to be a faculty of economics and business that excels in the field of digital-based, creative economics and business with a distinctive identity. Faculty of Law. The Faculty of Law of University of PGRI Semarang is committed to develop legal knowledge, and this is done, among others, by organizing seminars, discussions, comparative studies, and field experience practices. In order to support the teaching and learning activities, we have 4 complexes of campuses. Campus 1, located at Jalan Dr. Cipto, Jalan Lontar. This campus consists of representative and modern buildings for teaching and learning activities. This campus consists of central building, main building, student activity center, library, graduate program building, as well as a representative auditorium meeting hall for national class concerts and international seminars. Campus 2, located at Jalan Sriwijaya. This campus has a hotel available for both students and public in general, as well as a large meeting room for teacher, professional training programs, and various other large-scale meetings. Campus 3, located at Jalan Bendan Duo. This campus has a building for students' practices, especially mechanical and electrical engineering department students. This campus supports various activities to increase electrical, mechanical, and architecture skills. Campus 4, located at Jalan Gajah. This campus has a teaching learning building complex and sports centers including basketball, badminton, futsal, and other athletic sports activities. This campus also has a dormitory building provided for students, as well as a high school laboratory school, which was established by the Universitas PGRI Semarang. Why do you have to choose UGRIS as a place to study? We realize the importance of international relations to connect the discourse currently developing in the international world. This is where we establish a collaboration to open up opportunities for career leaders through students and lecture exchanges, credit transfer and double degree program, joint internship and research, and publication with our reputable university partners. We believe that in our fast-paced and competitive world, there are basic competencies every young generation has to possess, namely excellence and distinction. Excellence in either emotional and spiritual intelligence and the ability to retain the personality as a cultured human being. Please join UGRIS. Universitas PGRI Semarang is located in the culturally strong Semarang City, Central Java Province, Indonesia. With these features, Semarang is a potential place for students to develop themselves. The spirit that drives Universitas PGRI Semarang is nationalism and religiosity. Nationalism is the spirit to unite the nation in the midst of culture differences. We have 7 faculties consist of Faculty of Education. This faculty is the oldest faculty at our campus with the largest number of students. It has 3 study programs: the Guidance and Counseling Study Program, Elementary School Teacher Education, and Early Childhood Development Teacher Education. Faculty of Social Science and Sports Education. There are several points that become our focus in this faculty. First, The value of humanism as national identity. Second, physical health as a support for quality education. Third, the understanding of economic values as a pillar of human civilization. This faculty has 3 study programs: Pancasila and Citizenship Civil Education, Physical and Recreational Education, and Economic Education. Faculty of Language and Arts. This faculty provides education to generate language and art educators with pedagogical personnel, social and professional competence and competitive abilities in dealing with the current age development in order to develop themselves into professionals such as translator, newscasters, or journalists by making use of their language and artistic skills. This faculty has 3 study programs: Indonesian Language and Literature Education, English Education, Regional Language and Literature Education, Javanese Language. Faculty of Mathematics, Science, and Information Technology Education. This faculty has study programs of Mathematics Education, Biology Education, Physics Education, and Information Technology Education. The vision of this faculty is to be an excellent and distinguished faculty of mathematics, natural science, and information technology education by 2025. Faculty of Engineering and Informatics, established on April 17, 2014. This faculty has 6 study programs, namely Architecture, Mechanical Engineering, Civil Engineering, Electrical Engineering, Informatics, and Food Technology. Faculty of Economic and Business. This faculty has a mission to be a faculty of economics and business that excels in the field of digital-based, creative economics and business with a distinctive identity. Faculty of Law. The Faculty of Law of University of PGRI Semarang is committed to develop legal knowledge, and this is done, among others, by organizing seminars, discussions, comparative studies, and field experience practices. In order to support the teaching and learning activities, we have 4 complexes of campuses. Campus 1, located at Jalan Dr. Cipto, Jalan Lontar. This campus consists of representative and modern buildings for teaching and learning activities. This campus consists of central building, main building, student activity center, library, graduate program building, as well as a representative auditorium meeting hall for national class concerts and international seminars. Campus 2, located at Jalan Sriwijaya. This campus has a hotel available for both students and public in general, as well as a large meeting room for teacher professional training programs and various other large-scale meetings. Campus 3, located at Jalan Bendan Duo. This campus has a building for students' practices, especially mechanical and electrical engineering department students. This campus supports various activities to increase electrical, mechanical, and architecture skills. Campus 4, located at Jalan Gajah. This campus has a teaching learning building complex and sports centers including basketball, badminton, futsal, and other athletic sports activities. This campus also has a dormitory building provided for students, as well as a high school laboratory school, which was established by the Universitas PGRI Semarang. Why do you have to choose UGRIS as a place to study? We realize the importance of international relations to connect the discourse currently developing in the international world. This is where we establish a collaboration to open up opportunities for career later through students and lecture exchanges, credit transfer and double degree program, joint internship and research, and publication with our reputable university partners. We believe that in our fast-paced and competitive world, there are basic competencies every young generation has to possess, namely excellence and distinction. Excellence in either emotional and spiritual intelligence and the ability to retain the personality as a cultured human being. Please join UGRIS. Universitas PGRI Semarang is located in the culturally strong Semarang City, Central Java Province, Indonesia. With these features, Semarang is a potential place for students to develop themselves. The spirit that drives Universitas PGRI Semarang is nationalism and religiosity. Nationalism is the spirit to unite the nation in the midst of culture differences. We have 7 faculties consist of Faculty of Education. This faculty is the oldest faculty at our campus with the largest number of students. It has 3 study programs: the Guidance and Counseling Study Program, Elementary School Teacher Education, and Early Childhood Development Teacher Education. Faculty of Social Science and Sports Education. There are several points that become our focus in this faculty. First, the value of humanism as national identity. Second, physical health as a support for quality education. Third, the understanding of economic values as a pillar of human civilization. This faculty has 3 study programs: Pancasila and Citizenship Civil Education, Physical and Recreational Education, and Economic Education. Faculty of Language and Arts. This faculty provides education to generate language and art educators with pedagogical personnel, social and professional competence and competitive abilities in dealing with the current age development in order to develop themselves into professionals such as translator, newscasters, or journalists by making use of their language and artistic skills. This faculty has 3 study programs: Indonesian Language and Literature Education, English Education, Regional Language and Literature Education, Javanese Language. Faculty of Mathematics, Science, and Information Technology Education. This faculty has study programs of Mathematics Education, Biology Education, Physics Education, and Information Technology Education. The vision of this faculty is to be an excellent and distinguished faculty of Mathematics, Natural Science, and Information Technology Education by 2025. Faculty of Engineering and Informatics. Established on April 17, 2014, this faculty has 6 study programs, namely Architecture, Mechanical Engineering, Civil Engineering, Electrical Engineering, Informatics, and Food Technology. Faculty of Economic and Business. This faculty has a mission to be a faculty of economics and business that excels in the field of digital-based creative economics and business with a distinctive identity. Faculty of Law. The Faculty of Law of University of PGRI Semarang is committed to develop legal knowledge, and this is done, among others, by organizing seminars, discussions, comparative studies, and field experience practices. In order to support the teaching and learning activities, we have four complexes of campuses. Campus 1, located at Jalan Dr. Cipto, Jalan Lontar. This campus consists of representative and modern buildings for teaching and learning activities. This campus consists of central building, main building, student activity center, library, graduate program building, as well as a representative auditorium meeting hall for national class concerts and international seminars. Campus 2, located at Jalan Sriwijaya. This campus has a hotel available for both students and public in general, as well as a large meeting room for teacher, professional training programs, and various other large-scale meetings. Campus 3, located at Jalan Bendan Duo. This campus has a building for students' practices, especially mechanical and electrical engineering department students. This campus supports various activities to increase electrical, mechanical, and architecture skills. Campus 4, located at Jalan Gajah. This campus has a teaching learning building complex and sports centers including basketball, badminton, futsal, and other athletic sports activities. This campus also has a dormitory building provided for students, as well as a high school laboratory school, which was established by the Universitas PGRI Semarang. Why do you have to choose UGRIS as a place to study? We realize the importance of international relations to connect the discourse currently developing in the international world. This is where we establish a collaboration to open up opportunities for career leaders through students and lecture exchanges, credit transfer and double degree program, joint internship and research, and publication with our reputable university partners. We believe that in our fast-paced and competitive world, there are basic competencies every young generation has to possess, namely excellence and distinction. Excellence in either emotional and spiritual intelligence and the ability to retain the personality as a cultured human being. Please join UGRIS.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our international seminar of Faculty of Law, University PGRI Semarang. The Excellency Dr. Have Edvardas Jasnivices, Professor Yuji, as the Dean Representative on the International Cooperation Gdańsk University, Poland. The Excellency Dr. Gulberti Bolek Bekyizi as the Wuhan University School of Law. The Excellency Willie A. So as the Master of Public Policy specializing in climate change. Honorable Dr. Wahyu Widodo as the Dean of Faculty of Law University PGRI Semarang. Respectable all the audience and participant in this event. Firstly, let's pray and thanks into our God who has been giving us mercies and blessing so we can attend and gather in this event. Ladies and gentlemen, all viewers and audience, I would like to say welcome to our international seminar of the Faculty of Law University PGRI Semarang with the theme The Challenge and Opportunities of Law to Achieve Sustainable Development Goals, Present and Future. Thank you very much for attending our invitation. I am Indah Putra Dizlibu. As the Master of Ceremony, I would like to read this agenda. The first agenda is opening. The second agenda is singing the national anthem Indonesia Raya. The third agenda is speech. The fourth agenda is discussion by the speaker. The last agenda is closing. Well, before beginning the agenda, let's open our agenda. May the agenda run well. Now, going to the second agenda, deliver our national anthem Indonesia Raya. Okay, the third agenda is speech by some speaker. The first speaker is the Dr. Wahyu Widodo as the Dean of Law Faculty of University PGRI Semarang for giving a keynote speech. To Dr. Widodo, time is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Salam Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. The excellent Mr. Wali survey from Zambia, Mr. Edward from Giden University, Poland, Miss Guli from Wuhan University, China, Miss Dr. Siswati M. Hum, Rector University of Persatuan Guru Republik Indonesia Semarang, the Honorable Rector University of Persatuan Guru Republik Indonesia Semarang, Mr. Dr. Sabto Budaya Esa MH, Mr. Prof. Dr. Dorfairi, Miss Dr. Muniro, Miss Professor Dr. Indah Rita. The respectable to all the lecturers of Faculty of Law Universitas of Persatuan Guru Republik Indonesia Semarang, the respectable to all the creed of law that has been hosted this very great agenda. The respectable to all audience, ladies and gentlemen, are happy. Dear audience, it is no great pleasure for me to welcome you at our lovely university. University of Persatuan Guru Republik Indonesia Semarang in our great agenda hosted by our Faculty of Law, Universitas of Persatuan Guru Republik Indonesia Semarang. The first international seminar of law and governance when the time the challenge and opportunities of to achieve sustainable development goals. University of Persatuan Guru Republik Indonesia Semarang is fully committed to the advancement of sustainable development. Also known as the Sustainable Development Goals for a better life and future generation sustainability. We believe that University of Persatuan Guru Republik Indonesia Semarang has always had the potential to make impact in social justice and humanity. In this case, University of Persatuan Guru Republik Indonesia Semarang continues to serve as a pioneer and mentor to the entire society as well as people writing in the treaty. Their audience. This international seminar is not the end, but the gate of the opening for our generation collaboration with this outstanding speakers we expect in their expertise, in sustainability development call and the rule of law. As the Dean of Law Fakultas Universitas of Persatuan Guru Republik Indonesia Semarang, I do appreciate this very good agenda. As the result, we are ready to cooperate and determine the most suitable solution to achieve the SDGs 12 collaborative dialogue. By this statement, I state this international seminar on the law and governance with the theme the challenge and opportunities of law to achieve sustainable development goal is start. Thank you for all attention. My God always bless and guide you and in all aspect of your life. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam, good morning.
Okay, Miss Nadia Latifa as the head of this agenda. For Miss Nadia, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. The Excellency Rector of University of PGRI Semarang, Dr. Sri Suciati M. Hum, Honorable Dean of Faculty of Law, Dr. Wahyu Widodo S.M. Hum, the respectable our invited speakers, Mr. Wali from Taipei IU, Ms. Guli from Wuhan University, China, and also Mr. Edward from Gdańsk University, Poland. And the respectable to all the lecturers of Faculty of Law, University of PGRI Semarang, as the committee of this precious event. The respectable to all audiences, ladies and gentlemen, are happy. Dear audiences, all praises to God so that we can gather virtually in this very great agenda that hosted by our lovely Faculty of Law, University of PGRI, Semarang. This international seminar on law and governance with the theme, the challenge opportunities of law to achieve sustainable development goals, is participated approximately by more than participants through Zoom meeting as well as YouTube Live in our own faculty channel. Those participants consist of the academician, the practitioner, nationally as well as internationally, such as Australia, Africa, Paris, Germany, Mali, Turkey, and other countries that I can mention one by one. So the enthusiasm of the participant due to the invite speaker that we have today from around the world, from around the globe, that we have a big hope that have economic collaboration in the next event. So this event can be running very well with the support and hard working of all the elements of this very great agenda. So hats off to all the committee for hosting this international seminar. On behalf of the head of this event, I do thanks for love, sacrifices, sincerity, hard work, and dedication. For all the audiences enjoy our international seminar on law and governance. May God always bless and guide you in all aspects of your life. Thank you very much for your nice attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, for the next agenda is discussion. So I will leave this agenda to our moderator for now. Our moderator is Miss Nadia Latifa. She is Law Lecturer of Law Faculty, University PGRI Semarang. I give this agenda to our beautiful moderator, Miss Nadia. Time is yours.
Hey, good morning to everyone, dear audiences, respectable to our Dean, Dr. Wahyu Widodo SIM, and to all the audience. Thank you so much that you can join and participate this very great agenda. So I will say hello to the speakers today. I will say hello one by one. Is there Mr. Wali from Triple AU? Are you there?
Yes, I
Mr.
am
Wali?
here. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining and participating this event. And then I will call my dear Guli. I
Good
think I'm
morning, dear
checking the Zoom.
participants. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you clearly. And then Mr. Edward, I think he still trying to enter the Zoom because in Poland still very early morning. So, dear audiences, again, thank you so much for joining our international seminar on law and governance, the challenge and opportunities of law to achieve sustainable development goals, present and future. And today we have three speakers from around the globe. The first speaker is Miss Guli from School of Law, Wuhan University, China. And then the second speaker, it will be so. We start with the first speaker, Miss Guli. Miss Guli, time is yours.
Good morning, dear participants, distinguished colleagues, professors, and fellow researchers. It is my great honor to present today on a subject that sits at the very heart of modern international law, development, and human rights, the governance of cyberspace and the protection of personal data in the digital age. In my research, I focus on the intersection of cyber law, public international law, and third world approach to international law as applied to global digital governance. These three lenses allow us to see the hidden challenges and potential paths for a more equitable and secure digital future. So now let me share my presentation with you. The content of the presentation is, first we have the introduction, then there are three thematic areas, framing the digital here, framing the digital challenges for sustainable development. First of all, I would like to say that in my research, I was trying my best to cover it up with the Sustainable Development Goals. How is it linked? How is it connected to the data protection, to the governance of data in the worldwide, in the regulations of the international law. So the digital environment is central to Sustainable Development Goals. Notably, there are goal number 9, which covers industry, and then goal 16, which covers the peace, justice, and the strong institutions. The rule of law in cyberspace is critical for human rights and equality, as underlined in the United Nations 2030 agenda. This. So first thematic area is the cyber law. The world today produces more data in a single minute than entire decades did. As artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, big data, and revolutionize how states, corporations, and individuals operate. However, international law has struggled to keep peace. While regional instruments like the European Union's GDPR, which is General Data Protection Regulations, China's Personal Information Protection Law, and frameworks like the Budapest Convention on Cybercrime offer strong local or sectoral protections, there is no comprehensive global treaty on data protection. There is 2024 WTO Agreement on E-commerce, which represents a breakthrough. Its Article 16 and 17 sets the first global minimum standards practices, while Article 25 allows exceptions for national security. Yet even this progress reflects the deep fragmentation in international digital law. How is it relevant to the SDG? As I already mentioned, it is data protection. First of all, it's ensuring fair access to digital infrastructure, which is connected to the goal number 9 of the SDG, and they're promoting just, accountable institutions in cyberspace, which is connected to goal 16 of Sustainable Development Goals. Second thematic area is international law in cybersecurity. Public international law already offers tools to regulate cyberspace, but they remain underused. The principles of sovereignty, non-intervention, and due diligence obligations of states are well established in sources such as the Tallinn Manual 2.0, United Nations reports, and ICJ rulings. These principles can and should be applied to prevent cross-border cyber attacks, espionage, and irresponsible state behavior online. But enforcement remains difficult. There is no universal body to attribute cyber attacks or to hold violators accountable. The recent WTO e-commerce agreement, which was mentioned in the previous slides, and efforts to harmonize state behavior are positive steps, but they remain incomplete without global South representation. So now we slowly move to the third thematic area, which is TWA third world approach to international law and the cyberspace governance. When we talk about third world approach, it is mainly global South, which is including the Latin America, African states, and South Asian countries. So here, the insights of the third world approach to international law are invaluable. Global South scholars have long warned that developing states remain marginalized in rulemaking for international law. In cyberspace, this inequality is stark. Data, infrastructure, and governance are largely controlled by a handful of Western tech corporations and regulatory regimes. China's digital Silk Road and its sovereignty-centered model challenges this hegemony, offering an alternative for Global South to build independent digital capacity. But this raises complex questions about state control, surveillance, and rights. To reduce the digital divide and to meet SDG 10 on reducing inequality, Global South states must have a seat at the table in negotiating future cyber law treaties. So in here, my core argument is toward comprehensive international data protection treaty under the United Nations auspices. This treaty would standardize basic rights and duties globally, protecting personal data everywhere without any exception. Secondly, respect state sovereignty, allowing flexibility for national security and development. And thirdly, include Global South states and non-state actors in meaningful ways, unlike current models. Institutions such as United Nations, WTO, WTIPO, and regional initiatives like the Digital Silk Road can form cross-institutional working groups to shape this treaty. So now we come to conclusion toward a sustainable, equitable cyber legal order. Without urgent legal harmonization, the world risks a fragmented and unjust digital order, one where data exploitation and inequality flourish. But if international law evolves wisely, combining public law principles, cyber norms, and global South insights, we can build a cyberspace that is open, secure, and fair for all. This is not only a legal challenge, it is a development imperative. Thank you for your attention. I look forward to your questions and discussion. And here I just draw a visual clarity about my presentation, what I have covered. And if you have any questions, please.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Lily. Such a very comprehensive explanation. So I think we continue to other speaker first, then we go to question and answer. Is that okay?
Perfect.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. So we continue to our next speaker, Mr. Wali from Triple IU. Mr. Wali, time is yours.
Good morning, each and everyone. It's indeed a pleasure and honor to be here as a speaker, and I'm really delighted and honored to be given this opportunity. So, as the moderator mentions, my name is Wali Eso. I'm currently a master's student in Universitas Islam Internasional Indonesia, currently pursuing master's degree in public policy, specializing in climate change. So basically, I will take you through my presentation, which is about the interconnectedness between economic, social, and environmental sustainability, and how law and governance help us to achieve these things. So I will take you through my presentation. Um, I hope my slides are visible, right?
Yes, perfect. Clearly.
Okay. Good morning once again. Uh, I'll be taking you through this topic, and the main approach, as I mentioned, is discussing social environment, and also the economic challenges, and how law and governance help us to attain some of these challenges. So let's go with the introduction. So as we all know, the Sustainable Development Goals are a set of goals, like 17 development goals designed to address the current challenges faced by the world, and the target is to attain some of these challenges by 2030. They cover poverty, health, education, gender equality, clean water, climate action. So looking at the SDGs, we understand that the SDGs are an interconnectedness of three factors, which is the economic aspect, the environmental aspect, and also the social aspect. And how can we drive and attain some of all of these factors at the same time? We need, it means we need laws and we need governances in order to help us to attain some of these factors. So therefore, we believe that legal frameworks are essential in guiding us and enforcing sustainable development policies. And also effective governance and laws provide the tools for countries and organizations to ensure equitable, fair, and sustainable practices. The role of law is to create binding regulations, hold stakeholders accountable, and encourage behaviors that aligns with the SDGs. So therefore, laws or policies and governances help us to greatly align the SDGs and help us to integrate the SDGs into countries' national development plans and also countries' policies in order for the SDGs to be attained. So basically, this is the introduction of the SDGs. So then we move on to the role of the SDGs. What are some of the role of the SDGs? Um, it helps us, the legal systems as enablers. So the role of the SDGs in attaining the role of the SDGs, we can see that it helps us in terms of legal system as enablers. So laws provide the frameworks for governments and organizations to implement the SDG-related policies, regulations, and accountability. So through legal laws, it can help us to have these systems, like legal systems whereby rules and regulations of the SDGs are implemented. For example, like climate action policies are streamlined to countries in order for them to be implemented. And they can be only done, or this can be only done by having laws or laws and regulations that help us to have the guidance towards how to implement some of these things. And the other one is policy guidance. So laws can also help countries direct national policies, like in areas like climate action, social equity, and also resources management, compliance, and also monitoring. So with rules and regulations, it also helps in the compliance and monitoring. Like countries will tend to be able to implement policies, and these policies helps in monitoring the progress, like climate policies, or it could be environmental sustainability policy. It could be human rights laws. So these laws help to shape the behavior of people towards achieving the sustainable development goals. So what are some of the successes of legal agreements, or what are some of the successes of legal laws? One, we can say the Paris Agreement. So the Paris Agreement is an international agreement which was agreed upon in 2015 by 196 countries across the globe. So it's a legally binding treaty to limit global warming, to reduce global warming and carbon emission. And looking at the Paris Agreement, it has like two components, which is the mitigation aspect and also the adaptation aspect. So mitigation here, it wants countries to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius and 2.0 degrees Celsius in pre-industrial areas. And looking at the Paris Agreement, it is, as we can say, it is one of the successful international laws or international governances that help countries to meet their climate targets or climate action policies, because they want countries to submit their NDCs. Like every 5 years, countries submit their NDCs, so their emission performances in terms of climate action. And the Paris Agreement, we can say, is one of the legal binding treaty that help countries towards achieving the sustainable development goals. So we also have other successful legal frameworks which are also global. We have the Equal Pay Act. This law was first passed in the United States around 1963, but this law has been mainstreamed in many countries in the world, which promotes to the gender equity and fair pay, whereby both men and women who are working, handling the same position are equally paid, meaning like there is no discrimination in terms of paying both genders, which is male and female, who are handling the same kinds of jobs. So these are a success in terms of policies or legal frameworks that are brought into place in making sure that the SDG 5 goal, which is gender equality, is being attained. We also have environmental protection laws. These environmental laws, it helps to regulate and reduce pollutions and also protect our ecosystem, which deals with the goal 17. So these are all successful legal frameworks that has made significant strides in helping us attain some of the sustainable development goals. So we also have what are some of the legal mechanisms that enable practices? We also have environmental regulation, as I mentioned. We have corporate social responsibility. So we also have sustainability report. We also have the circular economic laws. Now, these are legal mechanisms that help countries to attain attain the SDGs. Like for instance, like environmental regulation laws. Most countries has laws on carbon emissions. Some has laws like the RED plus policy, which is reducing emissions from deforestation and soil degradation. Some also has policies on like environmental impact assessment policies. So these policies help drive action and also help countries to attain the SDGs as a whole. We also have corporate social responsibility. So it also mandate businesses report sustainability efforts and also practices. So we also have the sustainability report. Legal requirements for transparency, corporate environmental impact, and we also have the circular economic laws. So the circular economic laws basically encourage like recycling, reuse, and reducing waste. And this policy is mostly applicable to countries that are highly countries that are giving out a lot of waste, like in the form of plastics. For instance, like Indonesia, this policy is making significant strides here because there is so much of waste in terms of plastic. So it helps to reduce plastic, reuse, and also recycle them. So we also have some of the challenges in achieving the SDGs using legal frameworks. One, we have weak enforcement. So in most global South countries, there is weak enforcement. There is also corruption, like it undermines legal integrity and also hinders progress, lack of awareness, inadequate infrastructure. And these factors are very pertinent to the global South. And over the years, it has hindered the capacity of the global South countries, for instance, to adapt to climate change and to make sure that they mainstream some of these international policies like the Paris Agreement, to mainstream them into their national NDCs is always a problem due to some of these factors. Then next we will have here a case study showing some of the international, how legal frameworks or how policies can actually drive action. And this case study has to do with Indonesia. So the moratorium on new forest concession 2012 was implemented in Indonesia by the former president of Indonesia. But this policy's main aim was to make sure that the country reduce its emissions from deforestation. And looking at Indonesia, Indonesia is among the highest exporters of palm oil in the world. And because of that, there is so much of deforestation activities that is going on. And looking at the country's carbon footprint is also very, very high because it is ranked as a ninth emitter of greenhouse gases. So in order for the country to cope some of these problems, they implemented this policy, which was a success because the policy helps the government to provide permits to individuals who will have access to the forest. And then also this individual also ensures that they are transparent in their forest and their forest production or forest usage, and then they also make sure that they are environmentally sustainable while using the forest. So the main aim was to mitigate deforestation and also ensure that there is carbon sequestration in order to make sure that the country reduce its carbon emissions. And we also have the environmental protections and management law. This law also was passed to help strengthen environmental protection by requiring business to comply with sustainable land use practices and also promoting eco-friendly development. And then they also have corporate social responsibility. So this policy also was very, very important because it was also implemented in making sure that the palm oil industry is regulated by giving out certificates to individuals who will actually take part into this process. And the government brought in this policy called the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Wine, which was also a very important policy in helping to regulate the palm wine industry, palm oil industry, because it is one of the reasons why the country emits a lot of greenhouse gases, because they end up cutting down the trees, whereby leading to carbon emissions. So significant challenges remains in Indonesia still, because we have issues like land tenure systems, because some areas, for example, in West Papua, the RED plus policy is being implemented there, but there is some legal problems with the RED plus policy because of the land tenure systems, and these are some of the factors that are also impacting the implementations of some of these environmental regulations in Indonesia. So Indonesia demonstrates the potentials for national laws to align with the SDGs, particularly in environmental protection SDG 13 and also sustainable land management SDG 15. So moving on, what are some of the opportunities of using legal frameworks? One, some of these opportunities, one, it helps in terms of international cooperation. Global treaties like Paris Agreement promote shared responsibility. Now, we all know today's world, there is no country which is an island. Like every country has to engage in the international community in making sure that we attain sustainable development. And looking at issues like climate action, it is not only one country which can solve the problem, but rather it is a shared responsibility, meaning all countries are needed on board. And in order for us to have that, we need global frameworks that will help us achieve these things. And we also have innovative legal instruments. Eco-labeling and sustainability reporting encourages sustainable practices. We also need to integrate technology using blockchain and AI tool to monitor compliance and improve transparency. And we also need public participation involving citizens and also communities in lawmaking fosters better adherence to the SDGs. Now, these factors are very, very important, and there are opportunities in helping us improve some of the frameworks we have. Now, especially in the law, in the issues related to public participation, because looking at most of the time international frameworks, the way they are designed, they are not designed in a way to be able to be integrated in local communities. And looking at most of the time in the ways in which policymakers goes about making rules and regulations or policies or laws, they don't actually involve the right people. Like the local people are mostly sidelined. But in essence, the local people should take the lead. So therefore, I believe that in making policies, we need to revamp these problems or change these issues by taking the bottom-up approach instead of taking the top-down approach, in making sure that all these stakeholders, the local people, are included in making the right laws, because it is only when they are included that we can have sustainable rules and regulations that guide the behavior of people. So these are some, next is talking about what are some of the technologies, how can we embrace technology into legal frameworks. One, we can use blockchain. It ensures transparency in supply chains and track records, track sustainability. Now, blockchains here is this very important, because most often time it is like a technology which is developed whereby individuals have access to. So instead of one individual or one authority having the access to the materials, like every individual will have access to input their data, and ensures that there is transparency, and also there is also accountability. So blockchains are very, very important, especially in terms of climate action projects. This will help donor countries to know that if actually what they are giving out, the financial support they are giving out to some countries, are being implemented or not. The other one is AI, which is monitors compliance and predicts environmental impacts. So we should also leverage on AI, and we should also see how best our current legal experts integrates AI to to the world's progress or the country's development, because AI helps in issues like early warning systems for countries to be able to prepare well for climate action and to also make them more adaptable and resilient towards climate change. So we also need legal texts. Legal technologies are also very, very important in helping countries to also have sustainability in their reporting, and we also need digital platforms. So we also need to embrace creating platforms whereby individuals can engage in order for them to have access to legal information and also improve their enforcements. Uh, moving on, then we will discuss some of the strengths we can use in strengthening. What are some of the factors we can use in strengthening policies? How can we strengthen legal policies into helping us to achieve some of the SDGs? One, we can use legal education, meaning training future policy makers on sustainability laws. Now, this is very, very important because looking at most policy makers, they don't actually have the capacity. Like, for example, in most global south countries where you have so much of illiteracy rate, so it means that most of the time there is disparity in knowledge. Like those who are there in power, like the technocrats, don't have the actual understanding on how to go about creating some of these policies. And we also need to doing that, we also need to provide legal education to these technocrats in order for them to understand how to go about bringing in sustainability laws in order to help achieve the SDGs. So we also need public awareness, educating citizens on their rights and responsibility under the environmental laws. We also need community engagement, encourage participation in decision-making compliances. So these three factors are very, very important in strengthening our legal frameworks, because most often time, as I mentioned earlier, communities are not being engaged in terms of making decision making, and also there is also public awareness is also very lacking in terms of environmental laws. Like some people don't even understand how climate change can even impact, what are some of the consequences of climate change and all that. So in attaining some of these things, we will need to provide, policymakers will need to provide more awareness to some of the local communities in order for ensure that they have policies that reflects the reality of the people. Then we will move on to some of the key governances we can use. What are some of the approaches that we need to integrate? One, we need to integrate climate actions into governance. Like current legal frameworks will need to include climate justice. Now, looking at the principle of climate justice, it just means that countries that are affected by climate change need to be compensated, because looking at it most times, it is the global north that is the one that emit more of greenhouse gases historically. So therefore, the United Nations Conventional Framework on Climate Change has this policy that polluter pay principle, whereby countries that has the highest emitters of greenhouse gases are the ones who are responsible to compensate for developing countries. Now, we know there are significant strides in this, because we have the loss and damage fund, whereby countries are provided with financial support, but still there is still a huge gap that is still not explored, because even the loss and damage for the 100 billion which was promised has never been delivered to some of these countries. So legal frameworks will need to know, or we need to take these things into consideration on seeing how can we actually help to compensate some of these countries in the global south. And we also need technology governance. Now, we also need to regulate AI. AI is growing rapidly in most countries, and there is issues like cybersecurity. So we need to regulate some of these things by bringing in policies that will punish any individual who will use AI in character defamation or engaging into cybersecurity issues. So we also need youth and civil society empowering the next generation to advocate for legal frameworks. So what are some of the future legal frameworks we can lean onto? So one, the future legal frameworks reforms we need to make is the the law must evolve to address challenges such as climate change, technology governance, and social justice. Meaning, the current laws we have, in most of the time, the legal frameworks are mostly focusing on human rights rather than the rights on the individual, like rather than protecting the environment, having social justice. Most often time we see that legal frameworks are mostly more concerned with how the human rights are being affected, not necessarily trying to mainstream environmental sustainability into it. And I believe in the near future, we should focus more on how we mainstream environmental regulations and policies into our actions. And we also need to align the laws with the SDGs. Future frameworks must better align national laws with global goals by creating integrated systems that address interconnected issues such as like poverty, climate change, and inequality. Now, these three are very, very important. These three, like poverty, climate change, and inequality, they are interconnected, meaning one factor occurring might lead to other factor. Like for instance, like climate change might in some ways lead to more poverty because individuals will tend to expect or go through a lot of climate change eventualities like droughts, sea level rise, which will lead to so many disasters. And at the end of the day, it makes them more poorer and more vulnerable to climate change. And we also need to strengthen enforcement, a focus on improving legal enforcement mechanisms to ensure businesses and governments adheres to sustainability regulations. Then I will stop from here. This is the conclusion. So laws plays a critical role in achieving the SDGs by shaping policy, regulating industries, and enforcing global sustainability practices. So one thing we also know that SDGs are just a global framework. They are very, very important, but in achieving the SDGs, we will need laws and rules and regulations in order for us to achieve some of these things. And that is the reason why one can still say that the SDGs are still not making much significant strides because most often time countries don't mainstream these things into their climate actions. Like even if they mainstream this into their national development policies, but still there is still significant gap that is still that is still existing. So how can we solve this gap is by making sure we have the right policies, we have the right laws that will govern, that will help us attain both economic growth, environmental sustainability, and also social sustainability. So these three factors are very, very important. And in achieving them, we will need rules and regulations to help us achieve these things. And we also need global cooperation. It is only through sustained international cooperations that we will be able to achieve the SDGs. Now, the SDG 17, it emphasizes on global cooperation, which shows that like there is no country which is an island, meaning today we live in a globalized world. So therefore, we will need to work together. And issues like poverty, issues like climate change, these issues are interconnected. And one can say that maybe a country might not be able to tackle its climate issues if other countries in the world are not moving towards the same direction. So therefore, we need a global consensus on how to achieve some of these things. And we need for a strong legal frameworks. So we also need a robust legal system which is essential to addressing global challenges and achieving the sustainable development goals. So basically, this is what I have for you, all the viewers and the listeners, and thank you so much for your kind attentions, and I'll welcome your questions after this. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Wali. Such a very comprehensive explanation. Thank you so much. I will tell to you, dear the speakers, Miss Guli and also Mr. Wali, we still wait for the third speaker because it's a very technical issue. Our third speaker still have a very different time so far with us. He is in Poland now, so he will enter to the Zoom perhaps in 30 minutes again. So we agreed that we open question and answer first for please for the audiences if you have some questions To our speaker, please raise your hand and then introduce your name, say your affiliation, and then convey your question. Okay, here Puspa Wijaya. Okay, please introduce your name and then convey your question.
My name is Puspa Wijaya Kusuma. I'm from University of PGRI Semarang. I have a question for Mr. Welly. The question is, why you choose climate change for your as your major of your major?
Okay, nice. Perhaps you can directly answer, Mr. Wali.
Yes, thank you so much for the wonderful question. The reason why I choose climate change, because today's world, you see, we understand that the significant challenges we face today is as a result of climate change. And we understand that today we can't have sustained growth without having environmental sustainability. Now, the earlier we realized that there is no way we can, the earth is not sustainable for us to live, the better for us. Because looking at today, so many countries, one may argue that the earth today is very, very, like we have so many disasters that are occurring. And yet still looking at poverty and also climate change, these two are interconnected. Most communities today in the global south are facing significant impacts of climate change, such as like drought, such as sea level rise, which are making most of these communities today more poorer because like most communities in the global south, one can say some relies on agriculture. So if there is drought, obviously you will understand that most of these people, their poverty will exacerbate, right? So this is one of the problems, and this was one of the issues that make inspire me to study this course because I want to explore on mechanisms and ways in which we can help communities to adopt in order for us to combat some of these problems. And also looking at the knowledge gap in climate change. We don't have actually the experts who understand what are the climate sciences, how can one action trigger another. And this was one of the reasons also that motivated me to study this course because looking at the country where I'm from, the Gambia, we don't have much of the experts into climate action. So I believe by studying this course, I'll be able to understand what are the interconnectedness between environmental sustainability and also economic growth. And we see a way forward in which we can drive all of these things together. And lastly, we need to sustain this art for our future generation, remember. And it is only through through environmental sustainability that we will need or we'll be able to sustain the art for the future generations to also come in and also enjoy the same resources, or else there will be chaos, there will be problems, and there will be poverty and hardship because so many climate change events are irreversible when they happen. So therefore, we will need to sustain the environment, and this was one of the also reasons that also that also inspired me to actually study this course. So I want to leverage on seeing how best we can solve some of these policies, some of these issues. And in doing that, I believe it is only by studying the course to have the capacity to be able to make the right decision at the right time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for a very nice answer. So, in tribal IU, your major is economic policy, and then you choose a specialty in a climate change.
Yes, exactly.
Is that right?
Yes.
Nice. Is it full scholarship?
Yeah, it is a full scholarship. Individuals are being admitted for a fully funded scholarship, and students like the PhD program is structured. The programs tends to blend policy with climate change because, and I think it is one of the, I think it's the only program apart from in Australia that is offering a course on public policy specializing in climate change. Because the issue of climate change, it is not science. The science of climate change has already been established, but the gaps and the problems we have in currently, it is policy. And it is only by training individuals on how to make these policies into climate action. That is the only way we can solve the climate crisis today. And I think that was one of the reasons why Indonesia government or the university tends to bring in such kind of a program. And also looking at Indonesia is also very vulnerable in terms of climate change, like the impacts of climate change. So therefore, having such a course will help citizens to learn and understand what are some of the adaptation strategies they can explore to actually help the country adapt to climate change. Not also only the country, but also other countries in the world. So that's it.
My students can follow your way, so they can have a full scholarship also in triple IU perhaps. Yeah, I hope. So for the other audiences, please, if you want to convey your question. Okay, Rama Prayoga. Mhm. Please introduce your name and then you can convey your question. Okay, please Rama Prayoga. Yeah.
Oke, Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you,
Waalaikumsalam.
thank you for the opportunity. My name is Rama Prayoga from University of PGRI Semarang. My question addressed to Mr. Wali. How do weak legal institution and lack of action affect the achievement of the sustainable development goals, particularly in fragile and conflict-affected states? Okay, thank you. Wassalamualaikum.
Can you repeat your question? I'm
Okay.
not getting you clearly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How do weak legal institution and lack of access to justice hinder the assessment of the sustainable development?
Because as I mentioned, the SDGs are interlinked and intertwined, meaning one SDG might not be able to be attained without actually achieving the other one. So in achieving the SDGs in conflict areas might be challenging, but that is why I emphasize on the fact that we will need more global cooperations with countries like if a country is currently on maybe on conflict, maybe the government don't have, maybe the country don't have that stable uh, uh, governance structure to apply the SDGs. They may need the support of maybe the international organizations, or they may need support of partnership with other countries to actually see a way in which some of these practices of the SDGs can still be implemented in some of the countries. I mean, even those countries are still maybe not stable or still having some issues. Like for instance, in Africa we have Democratic Republic of Congo. One can say the country has been going so many problems in terms of wars and issues like that. But yet you can see that there are some aspects of maybe the SDGs that are maybe still introduced or still taken forward, like maybe issues like tree planting exercises, having environmental sustainability, and all that. So one thing I will always say is without peace, justice, and strong institutions, the SDGs are just goals. Like it is going to be very difficult to attain some of the SDGs because it is only having a stable system and having strong institutions in a particular country that will help actually to drive some of the SDGs. So one thing I can say is that one SDG might not be able to be attained without the other. Like for example, we can't attain zero poverty or zero hunger without having strong institutions, because it is only the strong institution that can make the right policies and the right laws in helping us achieve these things. So I hope I was able to answer your question.
Thank you so much for the answer. You want to add some? Is it enough, Tama?
Ya, Bu.
Kira-kira Tama. Yeah, is it enough? Okay. Okay. Then for the other question, okay, I see here there is Sylvia. Okay, Sylvia, please convey your question and then introduce your name, please.
Yeah, good morning. Sorry, it's a little noisy here. My name is Sylvia Dewi Agustin. My question addressed to Ms. Guli. How can international cyber governance be restructured to address legal disparities and ensure equitable data protection across developed and developing nations? Thank you.
Perhaps you can uh, repeat again,
Thank you.
Sylvia. Repeat your question, please.
Good morning once again. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Ms. Sylvia, for your question. The answer here is that Global South developing countries, where I am also from, I'm from Central Asia, from Kazakhstan, we have to be at the same table where all those developed countries, Western countries mainly, are sitting and making all these regulations and rules. Because, for example, what rules and regulations have Western countries, especially, for example, developed Europe countries, are not suitable, and they don't fit the reality. They don't fit into the reality of developing countries. For example, where I'm from, once again, I'm from Kazakhstan. For example, for our people, their digital rights, their digital data, it is not as much as concerned, and let's say it doesn't bring them that much value that it does, for example, for the developing countries. So that's why it is for us very important to educate our people, to let them know that this is very important right now, because what we have seen throughout the centuries of history is that developed countries, Western states, they have been forcing and they have been implementing their realities and their way of understanding. So now in 21st century, for Global South, for developing countries, it is very much important, if we are not present, for example, in the markets, in the economic ways, then at least in the digital reality, at least there we have to develop, we have to force ourselves to develop into that field where we can bring our voice and speak in that terms, in the same, I mean, in terms of equality. We have to be in the same, we have to have the same rights along with them. So that's why for now, what we can see is that Global South, especially BRICS countries, in Latin America is Brazil, in Africa it's South Africa, they are representing and they are bringing their ways of understanding in terms of digital data, cyber governance, and they want to bring this reality, this way of understanding and the world view to the entire globe. Because once again, what issues and challenges European and American countries, I mean those Western states, are solving and somehow finding the ways out. It is the world international entities. They are nowadays are being ready, where we developing countries can bring up bring our voice and see and understand cybersecurity, digital governance, and the way of developing and bringing up our voices. Hope I did answer your question.
Thank you so much, Sylvia.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Guli. Miss Guli.
Okay. The other question, please. Okay, we still wait for the third speaker. So for the audiences, please convey your question to the expert now. If there is a question. Okay, here there is Thomas. Please convey your question and then introduce your name.
Okay, hello. Okay, thank you, Ms. Nadia. The question to Mr. Welly, and thank you, sir, for the great presentation. I will ask about the presentation that you have delivered. And the question, have you connected between climate action and climate change and achieving SDGs? Thank you.
Can you repeat your question, please?
Okay. Have you connected between climate action, climate change, and achieving the achieving SDGs?
Thank you so much. If I heard you well, I think your question is how do you connect how do you connect climate change with achieving the SDGs, right?
All right, all right. It's question. Yep.
Okay, I think the SDGs, as I mentioned, they are interconnected goals. So therefore, achieving climate change will actually help to attain will actually help attain the SDGs. And therefore, also looking at the SDGs, also climate action is under goal 13. So one can say the climate action, it is a framework under the SDGs, and it is the SDGs that will help drive the climate action. Like for instance, climate change, it is not something that is independent of its own. Like it needs issues like strong institutions, it needs issues like peace, justice, it needs issues like innovation that is leveraging on AI, having like new data tools, also leveraging on renewable energies and all that. So therefore, I will say that climate change, instead of using climate change to achieve the SDGs, but it is rather the SDGs we should use in achieving the climate change, because the SDGs are the framework. The SDGs are the framework that will guide us towards the climate action, like having zero hunger, zero poverty, and all that. So it is only when we tackle these issues, we have decent economic growth, we protect the life on land, life below water. So in having these things, it actually helps us to achieve a world which is sustainable. And that is the main argument of climate change. We just want to have a world which is sustainable for all, like a world in which everyone can live life on land, life below water. We also want to eradicate poverty, hunger. But how do we do these things? We need strong institutions, we need laws, we need regulations, we need global cooperation in order for us to achieve these things. So therefore, instead of using climate action to achieve the SDGs, but it is rather the SDGs as a framework that will help us to achieve climate change. But also, one can still say they are highly interconnected, because if you eradicate climate change, if climate change issues stop, which may not likely happen, but if countries are able to adopt and mitigate climate change, it means issues like poverty might reduce, issues like hunger might reduce, issues like sea level rise might reduce, And these are some of the factors that are leading to most countries to becoming more poor and more vulnerable because they consistently face these issues. And because of that, today it affects their capacity, it affects their economic growth, it affects their citizens because most countries, for instance, rely on agriculture for farming. So as a result of climate change, the agricultural sector is highly impacted, meaning farmers might not be able to produce the crops they need, and therefore they will not be able to have the food they need. So therefore, zero hunger will not be attained. And also the country also, which relies on farming, will also be attained, like the economy of the country also will be attained because the country will not have enough produced for them to process it into raw materials or finished products to either use it in their country or export it in order for them to have enough revenue. So one can say it is highly interconnected. Both can drive each other. Like climate action can help actually solve some of the SDGs, but the SDG as a framework can actually help achieve the climate crisis because all of them, the way they are framed, they are framed into sustainability. And when we talk about sustainability, we are talking about climate action. So I hope that helps in answering your question.
Okay, thank you so much. Such a very comprehensive answer. Is it enough? Thomas, where is Thomas?
Thank you.
Okay, is it enough? Okay, please for the other question. For the other question, please. Is there other question? Okay, please, for the other question, we have a very outstanding speaker today, so don't miss it. Yeah, please convey your question.
Oh.
So again, I open one or two questions for the audience. Please, you can ask question while we waiting for the third speaker. Is there any question again for Miss Guli or Mr. Wally? I think our beautiful MC wanna ask something. Okay, please, Indah.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Nadia. Excuse me, Miss Guli. I have question to Miss Guli. Can you tell us cyber case in your home country? Thank you.
Okay, would you like to tell Miss Guli about the cyber case perhaps in your home country?
Yes, thank you for such a lovely question. The most recent one happened in 2023 in my home country. It was related to the personal data of 11 million people. The last presidential election happened in our country in 2019, and since then, there were happening many changes in our governmental sector, public sector, and the private sector. But that one, that personal data leakage happened in the public sector. And by that time, the most, let's say, funny part about the situation was that our regulations were not updated up to back in 2019. And a lot of people were left with thousands of questions: how to react, what to do, where to go, how to save themselves, and how to protect themselves from such kind of cases in the future. And since then, and it was a time of pandemic, as you remember, 2020, lockdown, and thanks to the pandemic, we could upgrade and update our regulations, our protection system for the personal data. But with the case of 2019, there was no responsible entity. It came out as a case like there was a leakage of personal data of 11 million people of our country. We are only 20 million by now, for example. Just imagine it was the half of the population's data. So there was no responsibility. They just told that the leakage came out from the public sector, and it was during the presidential election, but no entity, no office, no place were responsible for that. So that was the reason why a lot of people started to ask and demand the answers for their questions, like how should we react, what should we do, and what will be responsibility and accountability for those who did let it happen in that way. So this is the most recent case, and since then our people are, I would say, more educated, but still we have to way to go. Thank you for your question.
Okay, Miss Guli, how about technology gender-based violence in your country?
Once again, technology.
Once again,
How about technology gender-based violence in your country?
Technology violence?
technology gender-based violence, yeah, the violation of to the woman, I think, through online, perhaps, like that, in that
Online violation
somehow.
of data.
Mhm.
It is quite possible, for example, in our country, like let's say the cancel culture, when, for example, a celebrity or the person of the public sector would not be liked by his comments, by his actions, by his behavior in the public sector, for example, and a lot of people would bring out, since the pandemic, let's say, our mass media has developed exponentially. Like now they are, for example, before the time of the our second president, it was like mass media would be quite under control, but after the pandemic it changed for now. And if there is one person who is representing the public sector and his way of delivering speech, his way of delivering his mindset or the view of the public sector, it wouldn't be liked, it wouldn't be accepted by the general public, then the cancel culture would come out like very quickly. And thanks to the mass media, thanks to the social media, accounts of those people can be, I cannot say blocked, but would be banned, and most of the people would be like just disliking that person. So that's how it is working nowadays. So that's how we delivering, let's say, very destructured kind of speech and their values, which were not liked by many of the female side of our society, and that they would not like it. So it brought up this understanding to people, like if you don't like something, you have to react. If you don't like something, you should not just be silent, you have to react, like either by commenting, saying, or just going to people to know that this is not good, this is not right, and that's how it should be done for the general public. So that's how it is working right now. in terms of the both celebrities and the public sector figures. Besides that, I can say that the awareness of people how to deal in the digital domain and how to represent themselves, it also grown up. It's also raised in a very good way. So I can say that, for example, in my country, we have those who have traveled to China, you know that there is Alipay, for example, Zhifubao, there is Weixin, WeChat Pay, this kind of digital payments. So the same exact we have in Kazakhstan. The application, it is itself developed as a bank, for example, in the financial sector, but now, and we have there the we can register our marriage, we can divorce in there, we can get the birth certificate, we can get the driver license, we can open the our business, for example, make the payments and everything within one application, and that's how it eased and improved the lives of general public. So in terms of digitalization in Central Asia, Kazakhstan is developing very well, and compared to our CIS neighbors, I would say that most of our neighbors, when they come, they visit Kazakhstan, they are quite surprised, like the way how we are digitalized.
Okay,
Any
thank you
more
so much, Ms.
questions?
Guli.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Guli.
Okay,
Welcome.
nice. Thank you so much. I think our third speaker has been entered to the Zoom. I will say hello to Mr. Edward.
Hello.
Hi, Mr. Edward.
Nice to
Oh,
see
thank you so much. I'm so sorry. That's a very early morning again. I'm so sorry. We just start our seminar at 9 p.m. Jakarta time. So this is uh, time for you being a third speaker.
So,
So Mr. Edward is Mr. Edward is the Dean Representative of International Cooperation from yours.
thank you very much. Just a little bit about my presentation, because I'm originally coming from Lithuania. There was many countries also, like Kazakhstan, other mentioned. So Lithuania a long time ago was I would say kind of partner country with the Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan and Lithuania was part of Soviet Union, so we get some common roots. But right now we are in European Union. That's probably the main difference with other countries that participate, with the participants that participate at the conference. So we have some difference. And I wanted to speak, same as my previous speaker, about the technologies. Right now, my concern are with the artificial intelligence. And I'm coming from other conference connected with cyber law. I do remember one speech. One of the professors started the speech with the presentation of the picture of that horse. And he started the speech that's all different topics that we going to discuss at the conference. In some way, we can just, I would say, connect with the theory of that horse. What does it mean? It means that's other topics that we discuss very important, but at the same time, the most important topic is artificial intelligence. In the psychology, it means that's many countries. So the same situation with Poland, same situation with Lithuania and the whole European Union, that we do not have, I would say, still not big concern about the technologies, about artificial intelligence. So in the psychology, theory means that the horse is already dead, but our countries, or even we as participants, we still think that the horse can come on the first position, the second position, on the third position. So Many big changes are coming. Same in education, same in I would say in different spheres. I don't know, in our day life, and we need to be concerned. We need, from the perspective of the education, from the science, we need to discuss and to do some next steps. So my topic that I would like to explain how it looks in one of the sphere is connected with the taxes, because I am long time I'm working with taxes, and how is connected with the technologies, how is connected with the artificial intelligence. So just imagine that we have on the market robots. Even right now, Elon Musk, the businessman from US, is declaring that many families expected, at least in US, will have robots. So same maybe Indonesia, same maybe European Union. So you're going to have on the market, you're going to have at home like a few robots, and it makes a big changes, especially in the light of the macroeconomy, especially in the light of economy. What kind of changes? Uh, it means that people are not working. Working are robots, and people in some way cannot work because the work is taken by the robot. So the topic maybe was not so hot before Bill Gates, the founder of the Microsoft. In 2013, he mentioned that tsunami is coming and we need to do something. And he just mentioned like two things. One is just we need to be concerned and need to discuss the topic that robots need to be taxed, because if somebody losing the job, at the same time he is not only the concerned that he cannot work, but at the same time, the big concern that he cannot pay taxes. But when he or she do not pay taxes, at the same time there also big concern how he cannot also, because he is not getting salary, he is not getting any profit, how he can live without any profit, because he is not able to feed the family, and etc. So two concerns, and in some way they are connected, because the and at the same time, is it possible, like another concern, is it possible to tax robots or technology that will be taking the jobs from the society, and how it could be the issue solved? The first one is already discussed even before the technologies. That's kind of guarantee, basic guaranteed profit. It means the person, any human being, should get kind of basic income. And that was the experiment in Finland. Also kind of experiment in one of the states in Canada. And also there is discussion was in South Korea. And another example that was coming from Switzerland, they just get the kind of voting if basic income should be passed as the law for Switzerland citizens. So what's coming from the experiment from Finland? Finland, in a small part of the Finland, made this experiment. So two issues are coming. People who popularizing, saying that is a good idea, saying that results not really good enough, because the project, the experiment should take more time. But from the perspective that was done, especially from the psychology perspective, they already checked the kind of human being who was engaged. So that was a big plus because simply saying people who gets the basic income, they are more happy than people who do not get any basic income. More information what does mean basic income. It means that everybody from the start, from the day the person just get born, getting the person by basic income, but at the same time the law or nobody is just making any obstacles, so the person at the same time getting the basic income at the same time can go to job and make some more money from the salary. So what about taxes? Taxes, the main issue why we need for any taxes for the robots, it means we need in some way to get the money for the basic income, because right now most of the countries struggling with the huge public debt, and at the same time each year they struggling with a huge deficit. So how to get the money? So Bill Gates and other people saying we need to taxes. We need to tax robots. And how it should look like, because most of the taxes are connected with some legal structure. It means the first issue, the subject who is going to pay, and here is we just coming with I would say kind of challenge, because uh, usually we have in the law in many countries that the taxpayers are physical and juridical persons. So in the light of regulations, we for sure we cannot grant I don't know, physical human being status for the robots, but there is a need to create something new, or at least to grant legal personality for the robots. And this is the issue. I would say it's nothing challenging, because if you see the regulations of different countries, so legal personality is not only kind of, it is a fiction, but it's just granting not for I would say corporations or other entities that you know from a course of introduction to law, but at the same time you will see that can be granted for the tree, can be granted for the river, for the lake, and you have many examples from the different countries. So this question was raised by European Union to grant legal personality for artificial intelligence or for robots in, I would say, simple way of explanation. But right now, a few years ago, European Union, after the discussion, they answered the question that at least European Union is not ready to grant legal personality. So this is the first issue, because if we would like some robots to make taxpayers, we need to solve this issue. The second issue, is the object of taxation. It means or only, like, I don't know, robot will be taxed, or the possession of robot will be taxed. So there is quite difficult to understand what to tax. So in some simple way, the idea that coming from some economic sciences, they say that is quite easy. If we have the human being who is working and making the profit, and profit is taxed, the same structure should be used for robots. In some way, they also will be working, and you can imagine what kind of profit they are making, and this imaginable profit should be taxed as the profit of the robots, or like the profit of the human beings. The second element in the structure is the tax base. So most probably, as we took the profit, it will be the amount of the profit will be taxed. So we need to think about the tax rates, and we need to think about some kind of exclusions when people human beings are excluded from the taxation. So sure, and we'll be able to pass the law how to tax the robots. So that's probably one issue. But how is connected with the people? So people, I do not know any kind of sociological research in Indonesia, but if we speak about Poland, Lithuania, so most of the people, they do not like paying taxes. So if they do not like paying taxes, they usually do not pay or pay less. So that's kind of behavior is treated as the tax avoidance or tax evasion. What is the difference between avoidance and evasion? So evasion, it means that's the classic example. We hide our source of income. For example, I don't know, you helping somebody to learn mathematics or foreign language, and you get paid with the cash, and you do not show this cash to the tax authority. It means you are evading paying taxes. But another example, like it would be maybe, I don't know, strange example for you, but it is just done in many countries. This results coming from US. Why people getting married? So you're probably going to answer they just get married because I don't know, love each other. But based on the statistic, about 13% of the people getting married because of taxes. So they would like to save some money, and this is behavior just to do something, especially in the business. And this is just from example from the family issue. So they just get married because they would like to pay less in taxes. So this behavior of the taxpayer means that they are avoiding. So they using legal instruments. So just to get married is legal behavior acceptable by the law. Same in the business. I don't know, they bought something to create the costs. So this is avoidance. And probably the main issue, as the people are smart to avoid to evade taxes, probably the next expectation from the robots. So they will be also using the brain, a kind of artificial brain, also using to evade taxes. This is another issue. And most important, probably the issue that's connected with, because we speak about right now global economy. So we expect that robots will be possessed by Indonesian people, European Union people, and other people from different countries. So the problem of tax on robots connected with the competition between states. So one of the country will be not passing the law, so probably they will be competing. Let's try to develop this part of the economy of the state, and it will be harmful for other countries that already will be passing the law of tax on robots. And another, it probably will be a big issue because taxpayers will be avoiding and evading taxes in the light of international tax law. So that's kind of my speech. I would like to inspire you to ask questions. And I would say that's probably very important. This is only one part of the example, the issue of the taxation, because all of us, it doesn't matter where you live, Indonesia, Kazakhstan, European Union, US, and etc. We all pay taxes, and how it is going to be changed in the future in the light of technology, especially in the light of artificial intelligence, and simply saying when the robots will be living with us. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for very nice and comprehensive explanation. Some questions, please. So, Mr. Edward, please raise your hand and then and confirm your question. Introduce your name, please. Is there any question? Okay, is there any question to the audience? Okay, here I see. Please, if you didn't find the raise hand. Okay, nice. Atrayu Pinky, please. Please introduce your name and then convey your question.
Hello, my name is Atrayu Pinky Agnesia. I'm from University PGRI Semarang. The question is, what legal and structural reform in tax system are most needed in global south country to ensure equitable revenue generation for achieving the sustainable development goals? Thank you, Mr.
Can you repeat your question? Atrayu, can you repeat your question?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, because that's enough.
So very
Second,
good, very good question because actually we struggling even without the technology, we're struggling with two issues. One is just justice of taxation because we have taxes right now, and then taxes simply saying if you go for all the taxes in your country, in any country, I don't know, you can choose Lithuania, Poland, Kazakhstan, US, European Union, and you will see that in some way you will be saying that taxes are discriminating people. That's one of the issue. Another issue because we have a different tax systems, we cannot even say that we have in European Union like the whole tax system for the European Union because all the countries get the country's tax system. So, and here is the issue that revenues between countries are different, and in some way we also say that the tax system of, for example, European Union country discriminates, I would say, in the light of how tax money are divided between countries, discriminates what is going on in Indonesia. So it is not solved even right now because that's quite, I would say, each country, they do not care even if they are in kind of connected with other countries, but they do not care what is going on in other country. So if we speak about the first question about the justice, so mostly there is a discussion connected that's based on two fundamentals. One is just on the ability to pay. Another is connected on the what kind of benefits getting the taxpayer. So a simple example, to pay 100, let's just say, was the dollar for one person is a lot of money, and to pay in taxes $100 for another person is nothing. So taxes are structured this way to, I would say, to be justified or to express that the principle of justice is taken into account. So we're trying to make them, for example, progressive taxation. It means if you make more money, you pay a higher tax rate. So we can say at least that in some way there is this principle is just taken into account. But another theory, another fundament, I just explained about the benefits for the taxpayers. So usually the saying the person who is getting, I don't know, like a person is poor is getting some money from the state. So usually the explanation that we think that this person is getting more, but when you will be trying to compare the rich person or I don't know the middle class. So they're using, I don't know, some kind of highways, they're using some kind of airports, and all this structure are financed by the taxes. So in final results, you will see that a rich person even sometimes is getting more from the state, and at the same time he is paying very little taxes. So the issue right now is even, I would say, unsolved, and this is the topic or object for the science and discussion. That we still can see that there is a big discrimination in the tax system. What about tax competition between the states in the light of the revenues? I would say same as the principle of the justice, because usually it looks this way. That's I don't know, example from European Union, because we are just at least the founders of European Union say in one family, but at the same time we compete, and usually there is an example of Greece and Germany, because not a long time ago in 2008 many countries was struggling with the financial crisis. And the example was from the Greece, because Greece was competing in the tax in the light of taxation with other European countries. So what does it mean? They were providing kind of tax benefits to attract business to come to Greece. So the business was, for example, coming from Germany. They was closing companies in Germany, and when the financial crisis just started, Greece, according to the law of European Union, asked for the help, and who was helping? That's Germany was helping. At the same time, Greece was competing, but at the same time with Germany asking for the help. So my answer is we really need to speak, and we need to try to find I would say kind of good solution for the question when will technology will be part of our life as robots. And now we do not have any
Audiences? Okay, if not, uh, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to changes and opportunities of law to achieve sustainable development goals, present and future. And our discussion has affirmed a virtual truth that the law is not merely a reactive tool to societal just, inclusive, and sustainable world. We have explored the complex legal challenges ranging from gaps in enforcement, regulatory fragmentation, to the need for stronger institutional framework. So these issues underscore the legal system must evolve in pace with global transformation and align with the value enshrined in the SDGs. At the same time, the law offers immense opportunities from promoting climate justice, protecting human rights, and facilitating responsible economic growth to ensuring access to justice and transparency. Legal innovations, when driven by equity and accountability, can be powerful accelerator of sustainable development. Moving forward, our collective task is very clear: to strengthen legal education, encourage cross-sectoral collaboration, and ensure that laws are not only well drafted but also effectively implemented, particularly vulnerable population. So let this session be more than a moment of dialogue. Let it be a call to action. As legal scholar, practitioner, and legal and global citizen, we must continue to ensure that law remains a cornerstone of sustainable and equitable future for all. So I will say thank you so much for all the invited speaker, for Mr. Edward, Miss Guli, and then Miss Wali. I say thank you so much for a very short notice that we can present our international seminar to audiences. Thank you so much for your participation. Thank you so much for your comprehensive discussion and fruitful discussion. After this, we go to the next agenda. Is a photo session. Please open all your camera for the audiences and the outstanding speakers. Please open your camera and then we start to have a photo session. Nice. Mr. Wali, can you open your camera? Okay, nice. Okay, for the administrator, please phone us 1, 2, 3, and then we can have a photo session.
1, 2, 3.
Perhaps you can pin all our outstanding speakers. Okay, again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for our outstanding speakers, Ms. Guli, Mr. Edward, Mr. Wali. I hope that this is not the end of our collaboration. We can continue our collaboration for the next future. Okay, for the audiences, please don't forget to fill the link absent to get a certificate that will share by the administrator. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
I am
much for this
moderator. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, greetings from Poland.
Greetings. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We are going to the last agenda, that is closing. Our agenda is running well. Thanks 1,000 times for the narrator, moderator, and our participant who have been a good participant in this event. My well, all got much science and useful in our life. Before leaving the Zoom room, first fill in the attendance that will be sent in the Zoom chat column. As human being, I realize that I can avoid the mistakes. I represent all committee. Would like to say sorry if we have many mistakes. Thank you for your nice attention. The last I say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.